Hello, and welcome. And for Chris's sake, my name is Chris Anthony Lopez. This is another spoiler review for Loki. If you have not seen the show, big spoilers off the top. I'm going to let you all know now. But if you're watching live on WAT Reel Entertainment, thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it here. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel because we are doing this live on the channel per request of one of my guests. So we're going to go ahead and do this one today. Maybe we'll do some more later, but we'll talk about that when the time comes. If you're watching this on the channel, subscribe, like the video, leave a comment. If you're in the live chat, let us know your thoughts, your theories, all that stuff as we go. If you're listening to this on the podcast feed, then, please subscribe, follow, share this everywhere. Let the folks know where the party's at for Chris's sake. But right now, joining me for the first, I think this is the first, I think I've done a couple of these, the first live one on WAT that we've done technically for Chris's sake. Joining me, Connie Regular, aka Connie Breedlove. Connor, what's up, brother?
How's it going? I'm good.
What's good, man? I'm fine. I'm good. I'm having a little beverage, a little adult beverage on my.
What are you sipping on today, bud?
I'm keeping it basic. I'm doing a little bud ski.
Oh, all right.
Nothing too crazy.
I saw these on TikTok. They're
I love me some TikTok.
Orange cream pop core seltzers.
Dude,
I saw them and people were raving about them. Like, these taste exactly like an orange cream pop. Like, you have to get these. Found the last case at the Acme down the street. People weren't lying. These are amazing.
I've been on some, besides my little bud ski right here, I've been on a big seltzer binge the last couple of weeks.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I might have to invest. But joining us for seltzer talking for Chris's sake, apparently Ferris's best friend, Suge. What's going on, Suge? How you doing, brother?
Yeah. I'm apparently Ferris's best friend, aka fake Ferris, which is here with me in the stream. How you guys doing? I'm sorry, I look like I'm all over the place. I have been running around since I got home. Had to deal with some school stuff. Got to deal with some other stuff once I'm done here. It's a busy day. But you know what? I would not want to be anywhere else other than talking Loki with my two friends, Chris Lopez and Connor. Man, you guys are awesome. How you guys doing today? Other than drinking seltzer, I don't drink on the weekdays, so I can't drink with you guys.
No,
I'm
you're
actually
fine.
just chilling.
Connor and I were talking
home,
before the pod.
so I have to drink on the weekdays.
Connor and I were talking before the pod started, and I'm like, "Yo, I'm fighting to stay awake because yesterday I was telling Connor I took a 4.5 hour nap. I went to sleep at 4 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday. I didn't wake up until 9. It was awful. It was absolutely awful. I hated it. I didn't get to watch Loki until like midnight because I had to get up and actually be an adult and do things and actually do whatever. But we are here talking about Loki. If you're watching, if you're listening, this is full spoilers. We're spoiling the hell out of this.
Oh, yeah.
We're not doing, like, I know some other folks, they're doing their breakdowns, and by all means, all power to them. What's going on, Jeff, in the chat? Look at these bitches. Yeah, what's up, Jeff? A little quiz show in the chat. But before we start talking big spoilies and the real crux, I know we want to talk about the end. I know we all want to talk about the end. But Connor, I'm gonna start with you. Just general thoughts. What did you think of episode 2, the variant of Loki?
I loved it. I don't think I'm not going to love a single episode of Loki. This is, again, my favorite thing Marvel's ever done.
Just so crazy as hell to me.
It's just so good. They got Oshkosh, Wisconsin correct. That is very accurate of
Big
what
love.
Oshkosh is like. So props to the Loki team for being accurate on Wisconsin.
Yeah, they went to Oklahoma in episode 1. They went to Wisconsin episode 2. We out here just exploring the obscure. We went to Alabama in this episode. Like, what is going on?
No,
Alabama, home of Justin Hamilton.
Damn right.
Let's get ready. That guy who slums all over the place. Anyway, I digress. Go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
I was surprised how much they revealed in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, they're not going to reveal anything. They're not going to reveal it. They're not going to reveal it. Like, the variant's going to get away. Man, they gave you a lot in episode 2.
Yo, they gave us a decent amount to work with, and I guarantee we'll talk about every little piece of it. But Suge, what did you think generally of the second episode, The Variant?
The second episode for me really, it made it almost like it made it a non-MCU TV show, because they were sitting there he was trying to find clues, he was trying to think of this, and it wasn't all like, oh my god, superheroes, the Hulk smash, Captain America, it wasn't none of that. It was Loki trying to figure things out, trying to be Loki, manipulate how he can get out of the situation, how he can get to the timekeepers, how he tried to talk to the Variant and say, hey, this is my plan. And then also too, talking to Mobius, and you see Mobius' side, like, hey, when he says, I'll delete him myself if anything goes wrong, things like that. So it made it more of a TV show than a Marvel TV show, which I thoroughly enjoyed. There's a lot of Easter eggs. Actually, once we start talking, I actually put a photo in that I really want us to look at and analyze. Don't look at it, Chris. Don't look at it.
Yeah, don't look at it.
I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to look at it.
Going off what Suge is saying about like it not being like a Marvel show, I agree with that. And some of my favorite parts of this episode were when they were like looking at the files, looking for clues. Which timeline are they in? And then they broke down. And Suge, God damn it, you were right about so much. That candy, when they were like, that candy is something, and they're going through the files to look at which timeline had that candy in it, where it was sold. And like that was some of my favorite like moments of the episode, was them like going through the clues and stuff. It was phenomenal.
I liked a lot of the throwaway lines. There was a lot of throwaway lines that I think are going to come back, where Loki toward the end says, "This is how I wouldn't treat me," or when he talks about the difference between the making a copy of himself and projecting himself. He tells you the difference. And then, obviously, like Mobius saying, I'll delete him myself. Where did you get this pen from? There's a lot of throwaway lines that I think are just going to come back, and you're going to look and be like, oh my God, like that's what that meant. So I'm super excited about that.
Bad shit, crazy theory about Mobius.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I want to hear it.
It's kind of hold that thought.
Yeah.
So with this show, right? I think I was like 10 minutes in, and I'm thinking to myself, am I watching like Law and Order right now? Like I was watching like a buddy cop show for a minute between Mobius and Loki, and I really dug this. I liked the first episode a lot. I loved this episode, maybe because we advanced the plot a little bit more. We got to see certain things, certain people, whatever. But if I wasn't in on this show with episode 1, I am fully invested now. Because when the episode ended, these are pushing hour-long episodes. And when they ended, I'm like, yo, I need this every day of the damn week. And the show's so successful, now Disney's like, oh, you know what? Everything's going on Wednesday. Of all days, everything's going to be on Wednesday now. And I see you, Jesse Swift, in the chat. What's up? What's going on, Jesse?
What is that about? Why are you personally attacking me, Jesse? Is it because Saul knocked out your teammate? Oh,
wait. Okay. Oh. Look, Chug. No heart. That's not trash on Jesse for this one stream. For the love of God, Toby, I see you in the chat. This series has to end with Mobius on a jet ski, right? Yo, Mobius was incredibly wholesome in this episode.
I'll be disappointed if Mobius doesn't get that jet ski by the end of the series.
The end of you know what? I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna show this comment. Loki in order, SVU. Yes, that's it right there, Jesse. But if you can just jump to just the dynamic between Loki and Mobius in this whole thing. Mm-hmm. Obviously, this will be where the heart of the show comes in. Yeah. Tom Hiddleston, like we said last week, and for everybody wondering, if you're watching on WAT, go to the For Chris's Sake podcast stream, wherever you listen to your podcast. Episode 1, the three of us did a little review ski for it. Well, not really a review. We theorized and hypothesized how the show's going to go. And I had mentioned, like, yo, Tom Hiddleston's playing this character, a different version of it, for the third time.
Yeah.
And this episode proved that. This is not the Loki from 2012 that we saw in the Avengers. This is not the Loki we saw die at the beginning of Infinity War. This is a whole different character, knowing his fate and what happens to certain people. We acknowledged Ragnarok by name in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, Tom Hiddleston's playing a whole different version of this character, and I love his interactions with Mobius. This is where these shows going to get his heart from, because Mobius, as of right now, and I'm impending that thought until I hear your theory, Connor. Like I think this is where the heart of the show is at. Yeah. The moral compass of the show will come from Mobius and Mobius. And Loki, yeah, he's up to his mischievous ways, whatever. But just the stuff like the jet ski, how he talks to I'm forgetting the judge's name, if the judge has an actual name. It's the Gugu Mbatha character. If I pronounce her name right, I apologize if I don't. But I love that Owen Wilson's so damn good in this show. And yeah, he sounds he sounds just like Owen Wilson. Yeah, cool. But I feel like this is the best Owen Wilson could do in the MCU without being like, being all corny and whatever gimmick that Owen Wilson's doing that day. Like, damn, I love Tom Hiddleston in this, but but Mobius is where the party's at. And this episode is a great way to flesh him out and to show us more without showing us too much. Without showing us too much about his character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you sympathize for him, because if you look at what he talks about, he says, I was created to do this, and he knows nothing else. You kind of sympathize him, like, damn, all you were created for was to serve these people that you don't even know or see, and this is what you do, and that's what you're gonna do for the rest of the time until they fix it. I mean, that's kind of sad if you think about it. Like, that's actually kind of very sad. So I super enjoy what Owen Wilson's doing with this character. Obviously, Tom Hiddleston is amazing, and look, he is putting all into this last performance of Loki, because the things that he's doing, you're laughing, you're feeling bad for him, you're sympathizing for him, you're kind of getting pissed off at him when he's in the tent and he's like stalling, and he's like, and you're like, come on, dude, like, really, you're doing this?
I was so mad. I was so frustrated when that was going down.
And then when he's talking with the variant and he's like, my plan is to do this, like, you're like, really, dude, you haven't learned, like, really, you just haven't learned your lesson. Like, you're still gonna try to screw them over, and like what? And then he tells them, like, he's like, I want to take over the timekeepers, and you're just like, come on, man, like come on, learn your lesson. But that's Loki, and that's his character, and that's what's amazing about it. So I love what Tom Hiddleston is doing. I love what Owen Wilson's doing.
The cast of this whole show is incredible. Like, it's. And as George Thomas points out in the chat, Owen Wilson could have chemistry with The Rock 1,000%. Yeah. And with what we've seen so far in this show, we still have no idea what the hell's going on. Like, little to none. The second we thought we had something, this end of this episode really throws a monkey wrench into all of that. And now we don't know what the hell's going on. And we'll dissect the hell out of the ending of this. But damn, I just can't help but love Owen Wilson.
I think the variant Loki, the one they're chasing, I think their motivation is pretty clear. They want to destroy the sacred timeline. Why, we don't know.
Well,
but so Connor, I have thoughts.
Well, here's the problem, and this is what sucks sometimes. So if you watch the end credit, it tells you who the person is. Now, Disney might be messing with us, but it's not a variant of Loki. It's a character. It's a character that's in the comic books called
Sylvie.
Oh, got it. Sylvie. Yes, thank you, Sylvie, who was created by Loki when he died in Ragnarok. Now, if obviously the comic books, it's more MCU, so this could have been a possibility that when Thanos killed Loki, he created this being to have his hold his essence. One of the throwaway lines in the first episode is, remember when he goes through the metal detector and they bring up the fact that, do you have a soul? This kind of plays into that he might have transferred his soul into this body, and this is a version of him, but it's his soul in this person. What's her name again, Chris? I apologize. Sylvie, and his soul's in Sylvie, and this could be why she's actually not a variant of him, but actually a different person. She just has the soul of him.
Seems
So I think that
here's where
go ahead.
they're going to throw the wrench into that. She seems a little vengeful.
Yes.
And here's my batshit insane,
probably
not correct theory. Mobius is either Loki or a variant of Loki.
Okay.
That shit probably not true, but there were some moments with him that seemed off, especially when he was talking to that judge, Gugu's character, where they're talking about the like coffee rings and stuff like that. Like, there's some stuff that seemed like throwaway lines or throwaway moments that seemed a little bit more important than what they should have been.
Right.
Yeah.
And so to throw how I interpreted the ending, right? So the MCU, I say this every time I talk about this damn universe because that's how they fooled me this entire time. They've been rocking for 13 years and I've not gotten one thing right in this whole series. So for this, how I interpreted the ending, since I mean, might as well just jump into how the episode ended.
Oh yeah, Lady Loki.
When we saw, first of all, when we saw her in this episode where she was fully cloaked up, and like right in the beginning where she was in Wisconsin and she's dealing with all those time agents whooping their ass and displaying the whole like temporal mind soul power that she has. I thought to myself, the second we got her figure, her silhouette, I thought about Suge. I'm like, damn it, he's right.
Yeah,
it's like the second, because I'm like, I was set on the Richard E. Grant thing, and to a degree, I still am, and I'll get to that later. But I'm like, damn it, that's Lady Loki or a version of this character. So then she de-hoods at the end. I'm like, okay, like Loki, our Loki calls her like me or whatever the hell, and she gets disgusted at the idea of being referred to as Loki.
Yeah, she says, "Don't call me that name."
I don't think she's a Loki variant, or if she is, like, then she must have gone through some type of thing where she just hates the word Loki or any iteration of it. My Richard E. Grant thing still stands. I think Richard E. Grant is still a version of Loki, and he may be what she's trying to prevent or what she's trying to really stop or get a grasp of, because she said like it's not about you. Yeah, she's all about she's like what Suge said, real vengeful for what she's doing. She has motive to do what she's doing. I think that Richard E. Grant's character is going to be what that kid was pointing to at the beginning of the first episode in the glass, where it's like the devil. Because how would that kid equate the devil to her unless she has a different form that we just don't know about?
Yeah, that makes sense. Now,
the gears are grinding.
Well, here's a perfect time to bring the picture up that I wanted to bring up. So at the end, what we see her do is she drops those reset tubes. I don't know what they're actually called.
Disintegrators, as
and there's different ones go, and we see a screen and it shows the branches breaking off, right?
Yeah.
So I downloaded this. Oh, what the hell? So I downloaded this picture. This picture sees all the branches breaking.
Asgard.
And I want you to look at two of them, Asgard and Vormir.
Yeah.
But look at the dates. Look at the dates of Vormir. 2301. Look at the dates of Asgard.
2004.
2004. Then there's Cookville, USA, 1990. Okay. And then Portugal, 1492, and Italy, Rome, 1390. Those seem a little like, okay, random. And then there's the Thornton 1551, maybe a little random. But that Vormir, Asgard, and Cookville, very interesting that those are on there. And the dates.
I feel like you're going to tell us why, Suge.
I actually don't know why, because I just got home from work. I didn't have time to do research on those dates. 2004 seems interesting because I would expect that's around when Thor was coming out.
That is.
Am I wrong?
Thor was 2011.
Was it 2011?
When the movie came out? Yeah, it was 2011.
Oh, wow. 7 years.
Really?
But Thor was around nonetheless.
Yeah.
Like, the character may have been around.
But 2004 is interesting. That's like an interesting. I mean,
it's 4 years before Iron Man.
Right.
Okay, so 4 years before Iron Man. Okay, so that's interesting. Vormir is very interesting because we know Red Skull's there, and the date is interesting because it's 2301. that's like, okay, why would they go after that timeline? Now this could just be random because obviously she could have just dropped him anywhere, so we don't really know.
Right.
But though for those to be on there's something that has to be done with Vormir, or has something to do with Vormir and Asgard, and the date. So is that a time in Asgard when maybe the Loki you're talking about, Chris, is, and that's why she's trying to stop? Is there a possible future where somebody goes to Vormir and tries to get the Soul Stone and something like that? That's just, I don't know, but it's just very interesting that those dates pop up, and there's also the reference to the pen that's Theodore Roosevelt High School or something, and people said that that's the high school where Captain America, when he retires, and that's where they give the shield at, or something like that. I had read. So there's very just interesting thing. Like I said, throwaway lines in this episode, but that picture, it stuck out to me. As soon as I saw it, I said, and I was like, I need to see that. And when I saw it, and I saw Vormir and Asgard, I was like, okay,
yeah.
So that's important.
I figured that when they branched off, when we saw that bit at the end where we saw the different timelines being created, and I thought, like, okay, like something big's gonna come out of here. And I saw, of course, I saw that when it was on the screen, but I didn't really get to look at it until now. I like to think, let me emphasize this. I like to think that Marvel just puts that there for a reason, or for no reason, where it's just Asgard. Oh, that's fun. We know what that is. Vormir. Ah, that's fun. We know what that is. But then you name drop the Thornton thing and the Cookville, whatever the hell. I'm like, oh, son of a gun. Is that where we're going over the next 4 episodes? Because there's only 6 episodes to this show. We're already a third of the way through. So It's like, well, we have to start really getting into this then. Where is Richard E. Grant? What's his presence in this series? I find it really hard to believe the variant that we saw that apparently has been the antagonist of the first 2 episodes.
Not the antagonist.
That's not the big bad. Granted, I'm the same guy that was like, it's Mephisto in WandaVision. I was that same dude. But I find it hard to believe that this is the big bad. She's either working for somebody, under somebody, or trying to stop something else or something bigger. And I love that earlier we just glossed over the fact that Loki was like, oh yeah, I'm trying to overthrow the timekeepers. Yeah, that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
But I find it really hard to believe that we should really be thinking like, oh, this variant, apparently Sylvie, who she was, that's what the actress was credited as in the end credits. ASG in the chat, what's up, ASG? The council or whatever is a big bad in my opinion. Oh, the timekeepers.
They're up to something. The timekeepers are 100% up to something. I think they, like you said last episode, they are the big bad of.
They're sus.
And
I think they're a big bad down the road, but I don't know if they're big bad in this series yet.
They're definitely
maybe at the end. Yeah, at the end they're going to be like
setting up Kang, and 100% setting up Kang. I think they are the big bad overarching, and the Lady Loki, what's her name?
Sylvie
is trying to stop them.
Now let's say there's actually Sylvie and Lady Loki are not the same character.
They're not the same character.
Yes.
Yeah, Lady Loki is what Loki was going to transfer his soul into.
Yes.
That, or was supposed to transfer his soul, that body was for Lady Sif, but Loki transferred his soul in there. And that's where Lady Loki comes from. Silva is, like I said, we've already talked about that, but she ends up trying to join the Young Avengers, ends up working with Osborn, and like that's a whole backstory. She finds out that she's not real, Loki creator, so she kind of goes off the rails. So like you said, Connor, sometimes Marvel doesn't take the full story and implement it, but it takes parts and implement it.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think they're going to do. That's why I think she's so vengeful and so pissed off, and why she says, don't call me that, because I think she knows that she's not Loki, and basically, and like, because in the comic books, she finds out that her whole life that she has a memory of is fake. Loki just created it for her.
Yeah.
So that way she can, she would have those memories, but it's fake. Okay. So she ended up being angry about that. So I think this is kind of the same thing, that she is going to have she has a past that's not real, and she blames Loki for it, and that's why she's trying to do whatever or whatever. We're not going to find out. I think we're going to find out her motivation this next episode because Loki followed her, and we're going to see where they go. And now Loki is out in the world with no
TVA supervision.
No leash. He's unleashed.
Yeah, no leash. But in the first episode, I want you guys to remember and see if you guys remember this because I don't remember. When he's going through the gems, does he take a stone?
He took the Tesseract back, if I'm not
mistaken. But he puts the Tesseract back. He puts it back in the thing when he's looking. He's grabbing all the stones, and
because he took it back to like the room where they were playing the video
okay.
And he's like, I can't use this. I tried, but I can't use it.
But there's a point where he does grab stones. Does he take it?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that.
Okay.
My guess is no. And plus, like, my man's had to change the clothes. My man's looking all spiffy now. I thought about wearing a tie for this, and I didn't. But like he's all TVA'd. He's all TVA now. He's dressing just like my boy Mobius. And ASG in the chat says, my theory is not fully formed, but I think Loki teams up with her, and it turns into a predestination thing. Don't know if any of you saw that movie.
Yes, Predestination, if you haven't seen, is an amazing movie with Ethan Hawke. Mind-bending, but I can see it going that route, as to do with like time travel and like alternate versions of someone.
Right.
So I can see it going the predestination route. That would make a lot of sense, which I think it'll go. I don't know how they'll do that, but I can see it going that route. We also have another heater.
Oh, what's going on, Jesse? I didn't see that.
Franklin D. Roosevelt Schools in Brooklyn. And you know who else is? Miles Morales, Multiverse Spider-Verse. Let's fucking go.
Jeez.
Yeah. And that can, if you think about it, because of the multiverse, that can go into Spider-Man. And
we know this one connects to the most MCU properties.
So
it connects to Doctor Strange, and I believe it connects to Spider-Man from what I've understood. But
Spider-Man doing multiverse is everything but confirmed at this point.
Yeah. They didn't really tell us what it connects to, just that it connects to the most.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but those are giddens, obviously, because they deal with the multiverse. So
right. And not to dig too deep into this again. Like this is why we're so spoiled with all this internet stuff. Apparently the translations for the No Way Home title change. Obviously they changed from country to country, but I believe it was like in Brazil or something.
No Heroes Home or something.
It's like it's something in a different language implies some type of multiverse. And it's like, oh, well, okay, great. Again, this could be folks reading into something that they could be reading into themselves. So it's like reading intoception. But this, when Loki and Sylvie, presumably, if that's her real name, because Marvel could just be throwing us for a loop.
Well, they change the names in the credits all the time. I mean,
and that's right. Yeah,
Sam Wilson's name changed to Captain America.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So for
they
all
could just be messing with us. They could just be messing with us.
Yeah.
And odds are they are.
They're just misleading with those because they know fans are going to dissect literally like we're doing every frame of this thing. So they're going to put in things to mislead people. And, maybe we're looking too deep into it. Maybe it really is not Loki, but who knows?
What if it's some weird, like twisted away where we all expected going into this that if you're going to get super weird, it's going to be in this. And with a character that's known to throw us for a loop, like we think that Marvel's going to throw us for a loop. What if this plot's real straightforward? Just to be like the most unconventional Loki thing you can do. Will it be that way? Probably not, because I think that whole I'm going to overthrow the timekeepers thing has some type of weight to it. Do we know what kind of weight? No. But I will tell you this. Last week, after we got done doing the First for Chris's Sake with Loki, I went to work the next day. I talked to a buddy of mine about this, and he said straight up, yo, what if Loki by the end of the show is a timekeeper? He said that to me, and he's not as ingrained as we are into this. But the second he said that, I'm like, damn it. I
Damn
could
it.
have used that. Like I did this thing last night. But I'm like, oh my God, how we not bring that up? So then
Honestly,
this episode,
Marvel is the Loki of like conglomerates.
Yeah.
They're exactly like Loki in that sense, where they give you all this stuff and they're like, is this what we mean or isn't it? Like
Right.
they're legitimately Loki. Marvel is Loki.
like I'm still like I've said this again. I'll say this once. I'll say it again. I'm that guy that was with Mephisto. If Mephisto doesn't show up in Doctor Strange, I'm gonna have pie in my face, like it's nobody's business, right? Because if the character's gonna show up, it's gonna be in that movie. But if he doesn't, then we probably won't get him, and it's as simple as that. But in this damn show, yeah, there's a lot of fun bits, and there was the whole the entire first mission where they went to Wisconsin. What was that town called, Connor?
Oshkosh.
Oshkosh?
Yeah, it was about an hour and a half away from where I used to live in Wisconsin. It was
There you
about an
go.
hour away from Shawano.
Oshkosh, Wisconsin. When they went there in the beginning, and Loki was out here stalling for time, and they straight up called him out for it. They're like, "Yo, he's stalling," and he brings it back in the end of the episode where it's like, "Yo, I was trying to buy you time. I was trying," but then he brings up the timekeeper's point. We're as of right now with what we know, it's like where do we think this character's gonna go? I have no idea. Part of me likes to think he's gonna go out in a hero's death and he will save or try to save the multiverse and fail in death. But now I'm thinking, well, damn, he might actually try to be a timekeeper or try to overthrow the TVA in some while also helping them at the same time. It's super weird, and I don't know what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
So ASG brings up this comment. If I feel like if Mephisto was something upcoming, the creator of WandaVision would have heard of him. And see, they definitely laid the groundwork out for Mephisto in that series, though.
Yes, a lot. But here's the thing: who's going to be? Because this is a new chapter of MCU.
Yes.
So we
Phase 4.
don't have Thanos anymore.
Mm-mm.
So who's the next big overarching villain? Thanos
Kang the Conqueror would probably be most likely.
that's what I'm guessing. Thanos was a surprise though, and Kang was announced. So are they like I'm probably looking too much into it, but is Kang going to be the big bad, or is it someone not announced like Mephisto? Mephisto hasn't even been announced. So is that going to be like the surprise, like this is... Or then Kang will be like a new Loki where he pops up in different properties and is like a henchman for another big bad.
I think it's the latter. I think like since Kang got announced and that we know Jonathan Majors will show up in Ant-Man Quantumania, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, and that we know, and after you said last week that that Kang looked like one of the timekeepers, Connor, I was eyeballing the hell out of the timekeepers.
Did you see it again in this episode?
I was looking at him like that does look a lot like Kang, or someone that looks like Kang the Conqueror. It may not actually be
Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, but like, who the hell knows if it's actually him or if it's just someone that looks like him? They tell us it's a whole different character. But I'm still out here thinking the TVA, or let me rephrase, the timekeepers are extremely sus, especially after this episode where not too many people have even interacted with them, let alone seen them.
Well, here's the thing though, Chris. There's actually multiple Kangs. If you go by the comic book, there's the Council of Kangs, and they're not the same person. They're different people from different species from different timelines, and they become up with the Council of Kang. So they made that one may look like Kang, but it may be a different Kang. So we don't know exactly. But I was kind of like trying to look at because I think Connor, you said earlier, you said that's not Black Widow that he talks to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking at the trailer. That's absolutely Black Widow. I slowed it down. It's actually,
who do you think it is then, Connor? Because where'd that come from? First of all, where did that idea come from?
It's right here. Hold up. Let me.
No, because Connor, you told this to me before the show started.
I think it's Lady Loki. I keep forgetting her name.
No, that's absolutely Black Widow.
Is it though?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Because Sylvie, she has that.
Sylvie. She has the same haircut. So
She does have the same haircut. Maybe it is Sylvie. I don't know, but
it would make more sense if it was Sylvie. Or the character that we're calling Sylvie.
So I'm kind of going through the trailer and like, okay, so this is a apocalyptic something happened crazy.
And we know Sylvie hides in apocalyptic timelines.
Yeah, so this makes sense now. In which this would actually make sense that she's sitting there.
This may be episode 3, dude.
I think episode 3. Where is it? I'm not gonna go through all of it, but there's a scene where Loki's standing in another apocalyptic. It looks like New York or something like that. Mm-hmm. I think that is where they go next because it's like gray. It's not purple. It's like a gray. If you go back and watch a trailer, he like ends up in a field, but it's like you see like a city. It's destroyed, and so that looks like that's probably where the next episode's going to be.
Right, and Toby in the chat points out that they wouldn't have put Natasha in the trailer, and the shot that Suge just showed was different than the one we saw. Excuse me, the initial trailer.
I'm looking. This trailer was the December 10th trailer, and then the other one I had been looking at was was like 2 weeks ago. But it shows Loki and that person sitting on the rocks holding each other's hands.
That's the shot. Yeah.
I was looking for that.
It looked like Vormir because of like the color palette.
Yeah.
All this other stuff in this new trailer with the background and stuff. So I think that's a hint that it is Sylvie and not Natasha.
Yeah, and I know it's cheating, but going back and looking at the trailer now, there is shots you see, and you absolutely see where this is going. I don't want to spoil it, but there's absolutely.
What are you talking about? This is a whole spoiler thing. Tell me your thoughts. What the hell?
Well, obviously, Silva or Lady Loki gets to
the TVA
because there's the clock. She's fighting, and everything like that. And if you watch this, okay, so there's that scene. I think that's.
Whoa, yeah, go back. Go the hell back.
Yeah,
what
we
the hell
need
is
a dice like that.
Because Loki's
there's Avengers Tower right there.
That's Avengers. So this is New York. This is New York.
Yeah. Wow. Oh my lord.
And if you look what he's wearing what he left when he
just left. Yeah, with the sleeves rolled up and everything. So yeah.
Yeah, and then there's like this. So then, like in this situation, he's walking. Where'd it go? So there's where we think Vormir.
Yeah, that looks like Vormir.
I thought. What was I going to say? What's the planet that Peter Quill gets the Power Stone from in Guardians, the first one? I thought that was this when I initially saw it.
Yeah,
but damn, yo, this show. By the way, that whole sequence at the end with first of all, I like that's how Sylvie's different from the Loki that we have. Like she does the whole like I don't even know what you would call it. Like the soul thing that she just
doesn't even need to touch people. She can train.
It's almost like a Scarlet Witch thing.
Yeah, which coincides with Suge's theory that Loki transferred his soul into this new being or created this new being and transferred his soul there.
Loki did this.
When he died by Thanos, because now she can transfer her soul and control these people. So that kind of lines up with that theory.
So are we saying that, because that can't be, so this is going to start getting weird. So our Loki, right? TVA Loki.
Yeah.
Like that's the one that got the Tesseract in 2012 in a different timeline variant bang. So are we saying that the proper main timeline Loki, the one that died at the beginning of Infinity War, is that the one that transferred the power, or are we talking about a whole different Loki in a similar situation?
No, I'm assuming, the one that died by sounds. Because you got to remember, when Loki gets the Tesseract and lands in the desert and then TVA takes him, they erase that timeline. So he never gets the Tesseract.
I'm thinking of Morag. Thank you, Jesse.
Yeah, he never gets the Tesseract. So that never happened. So Loki goes on to get to into Infinity War and gets killed by Thanos. So where my theory comes in that he transferred his soul is where Thanos grabs him by the neck in Infinity War and snaps it.
Yeah,
and that's where Loki transferred his soul to somebody. Which, like I said, that throwaway line in the first episode where the person says when he goes to a metal detector, some cultures call it a soul. This is to prove if you have a soul. I think that's why that line was put in there to later on.
And they have the same aura.
Yeah,
if this was a different Loki, it would be a different aura because it's a different being. If it was a different Loki, they would have a different aura because it's not the same Loki as the Loki that's going through that scanner. Holy shit. Suge is correct.
I'm lost. Can you explain that to me again?
Okay, so they scanned the aura when he walked through that detector, right?
Yes.
If this was a different version of Loki, Sylvie, if she was a different version of Loki from a different timeline, she would have a different aura because it's not the same Loki. But they have the same aura.
I was under
the impression
that
they have the same aura.
I was under the impression that all the Lokis had a similar aura, or did I get it twisted at some point? Because Mobius had made
an aura because they would have different souls because they're different beings.
But if he didn't have a soul when he already got to the TVA,
he does have the soul. Why would he not have
the aura?
Oh yeah, because they said that the thing would go off if he didn't have a soul. So, okay. Oh jeez, and this show is melting my brain.
Well, remember, Sylvie is not Loki mindset basically. So she has his soul, but it's not him running things. It's her. So she's doing her own thing.
Yes,
that's why I think the line of "Don't call me that" when he calls her Loki, and that line is put in there of "Don't call me that" because she's not Loki. She's Silva, but Loki's soul is inside of her.
Yes.
Okay, so obviously, like whether it's our Loki or different ones, Sylvie has Loki-esque powers. But could she be some type of thing where it's almost like when man creates a robot and robot becomes sentient and has its own will? So is that like a similar case with Sylvie then? Did she realize that she wasn't who she thought she was?
I think so.
Yeah. So she's not Loki. She has her own memories and she finds out that she's actually not who she is, that she's just a body for his soul. And now she's pissed. And so now she's going to go and do something, maybe to stop it. I don't know. But I think that's what her motivation is now she's pissed off because he did this to her.
It's kind of like an Ultron type deal where he's kind of like pissed off about this creation and becoming more powerful. So I think it's like the same deal as what Ultron was doing.
And are we still set on the theory? Because I'm so lost. Are we still set on the theory that like it's not our Loki, the one that we're watching? It's a different Loki that did this to her. And
no. It's okay. So again, this is we'll go back to
because I don't think that adds up. I don't think that adds up.
All right, so this Loki that we're following is
called TV. We'll call him TV Loki.
Yeah,
TV Loki.
Yes,
TV Loki we're following right now is TV Loki.
Mm-hmm.
Movie Loki is the soul that's possibly died, and his soul is trapped in Sylvie.
But
what, Chris?
But when that, because they made sure to let us know in the first episode that Sacred Timeline things were supposed to happen the way they were, and until Loki got the Tesseract in Endgame, everything was fine, as far as we know. So at least in regards to the characters that we're aware of. So why would she be a variant then? If movie Loki gave her his soul, why is she a variant?
I don't think that everything is the way that it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
I think the timekeepers are full of shit. I think they're full of shit.
I don't think she's a variant. I don't think she's a variant. I think they know that she's trying to stop something.
Okay. I see. So TVA want her because they're afraid that she will like expose them in some type of way?
Because the timekeepers are the ones that pass down judgment. So the timekeepers are the one that are telling the TVA, hey, you need to go after this person. They are fucking with
That's a variant. Yeah, they're a variant. And she is messing with the timeline, but she's not. But they're telling everybody she's a variant because what makes sense. You can delete a variant.
Right, totally. And
so if you say she's a variant, you can delete her.
Yeah.
And and Gugu and Batha Raw, when she was talking to Mobius earlier, she said, the timekeepers are awfully invested in this case.
Exactly.
More so than they usually are.
Exactly.
Y'all, son of a gun.
Exactly.
Okay. Damn. I still don't think she's the big bad.
No, I don't think she's the big bad. I think she's trying to stop the timekeepers or another version of Loki. And that's so she let off those bombs. Those bombs dropped because you see it, the little windows open up and they just dropped. So she's trying to, I think, now that I think about it with the picture and everything, what I think she did was she did that so that way she can get to the TVA, because we just watched the trailer and she gets there. She'll get to the TVA so she can take them out. Yeah. So she uses that as a distraction. Because now all the TVA has to take off and they got to go and fix those timelines. Exactly.
And they have to take off to timelines that were created with those portals that dropped the disintegrators into those portals. So all these TVA agents are going to go there and be wiped out because the bombs are going to go off.
Exactly. So they can take off.
Absolutely open for her to go to and do whatever she needs to do
to try to get the timekeepers. Yeah, exactly.
Lord God. Maddie Gunner in the chat. Damn Suge, give me my brain hurt. It took me 10 minutes to get what he was talking about. And Sean in the chat. Suge's cracked the code. Maddie Gunner.
Yeah, I'm one with Suge right now. I'm on.
No. Connor's giving me ideas, but you know where I come up with this stuff? When I'm in the shower. I don't know why, but when I'm in the shower, my brain just goes.
My fiance,
I'm all lathered up. I'm all lathered up, and all of a sudden, my brain just goes Loki, and I start thinking of shit. So that's where I get on my head.
Like, why do you take so long in the shower? Like, I'm in and out, and I'm like, just washing my hair, scrubbing my body, thinking about Loki and like Marvel shit. It's like, that's what I'm doing. Like, I am thinking about Marvel and nerdy shit.
So kind of when you text me your theories, like, I'm assuming you just got the shower, like, yo.
Yes. No, exactly. I got out of the shower and I'm like, I gotta text Chris.
That's where I do my best thinking, in the shower.
Yo, on some real stuff. I couldn't agree more. But this
I'll say this. I don't think we have it 100%. I think they're gonna throw in little things.
Oh hell no! There's no way how we crack the code. There's no way.
But I think I have full confidence in myself to say that that's what it is that this Loki is trying to stop something. Or sorry, Sylvie is trying to stop something, and she did this for this reason to get to the timekeepers. Because even when he mentions to her, I'm gonna overthrow the timekeepers, she stops. Remember when she's in the Randy's body? She stops. She actually stops and thinks about it. So she wants the timekeeper. So they did something.
She was like, "Nah, I don't want that." She's like, "I'm good." She said no to him.
But I think because she wants to do it herself. She knows Loki. She knows that Loki is
Loki
manipulative.
Wants to take over.
Yeah.
TV Loki wants to take over the timekeepers. Sylvie wants to wipe them out. She does not want the timekeepers. She does not want TVA. Because that was his whole spiel, like, we can run the timekeepers and the TVA together. And she stopped and thought about it. But that's not her motivation. She wants to get rid of those. She doesn't want to run it.
Right. Damn it. Maddie Gunner in the chat. When I'm in the shower, I sing and I think about Loki. You can do both. What's up, Brandon in the chat? What's going on, brother? And
Maddie, I'll call you. We could talk while we're in the shower. I mean, you can do it. Just don't drop the phone.
Jesse in the
Just
chat,
don't drop the phone.
Calm
Yeah,
down.
we'll do a group call and we'll theorize about.
I think we
Loki's
should
show.
absolutely do that. I think the next show we do is all of us in the shower.
Wait a minute. Wait.
There's a shower show, and we're all sitting there talking about it. You just see Chris doing his hair. You go like this. I slip and fall. The camera falls. You just see my. It's like it's great. It would be great TV. Come on.
Jesse does also scrub his body thinking about Loki.
Exactly. Jesse knows what's up.
Jesse actually gave me the name Tom Hiddleston. I've been referring to Tom Hiddleston as Tom Hiddleston for the last week and a half. Thanks, Jesse. And Sean with the same energy in the chat. Don't drop the soap. Yes, ASG. Classic advice. But Maddie Gunner points out, I'm annoyed it's been 2 episodes and we have yet to get a wow from Owen Wilson.
I think we'll get a wow at some point in the series from Owen Wilson.
I think he's
going to be like, wow.
You know what I think too with him? I think he's going to turn on the timekeepers and the TVA with Loki.
Yeah, because he mentioned his frustration with not having met the timekeepers. He's like, I'm doing all this, and like I have not seen them. Like I have yet to meet.
But he's programmed to to serve them basically. He's programmed to do that, and with talking with Loki, when they're like sitting in there and Loki's asking him, why do you do this? Why do you do that? You can kind of see he's questioning, but he's not, he's doing it. Yeah. So I think toward the end, he's gonna question what the timekeepers are doing.
What his glorious purpose is.
After studying Loki's for so damn long, he almost like gets convinced of at least the one he's gone to interact with face to face that we're aware of, that we know of. So, when they told us in this episode, like, or maybe in the last episode they might have told us this, but all those folks were created for the TVA. Yeah. I was under the impression that Mobius was not, that he came from somewhere, because
I was under the same.
Because he gives a shit about some things that typically some folks who just pop up don't give a shit about, like the damn jet.
That's where my theory comes from about him being a variant of Loki. Which is probably not true, but it's fun to think about.
It is fun to think about, and I hadn't thought about it that way. Where he was a variant masquerading as a TVA agent this whole time. He just happens to look like Owen Wilson. Mm-hmm. But, that'd be one hell of a twist. Even if you can call it from a mile away, it could happen in episode 5. Connor called it in episode 2 review, and we'd still be like, we'd still be like, wow. Like I'd still be surprised. Yeah. Like you could tell me Suge could have mapped out the entire series right here in the last 50-some minutes. I'd still be like, oh, as it happens.
Marvel, even when we get some things right, theorizing, Marvel always finds a way to surprise us.
Right.
Very true.
Like we have no idea. I mean, we might have a general idea of what's going on. I think in this pod and the last one that we did together, we have like a general idea of where this show could go. Will it go that way? Probably not. Like we probably have some key pieces. Like Suge straight up called the shrouded person being a female version of a Loki-esque character. Granted, is that an original thought? No, I saw that everywhere. I feel like I was the only person that didn't think that way. But yes, Jesse, 10 out of 10 in the chat. Hiddleston being Hiddleston. Yes, Hiddleston. Yo, Tom Hiddleston, has that man aged at all? I feel like he's looked the same this whole time.
Go back and look at the Thor 1. He looks so young there. Because he had the short hair.
He's going to be like Keanu Reeves, where he's going to be 50, pushing 60, and he's still going to look like a beautiful motherfucker.
He'll look like a 40-year-old man.
Yeah.
Still. Because Tom Hiddleston looks pretty damn good.
Looks amazing. Like I think that'll be Tom Hiddleston. I think they're just blessed with some amazing genes and a lot of money.
I said last week when we talked about this on For Chris's Sake that this will be the last time Tom Hiddleston plays his character. After watching this episode, and I think I would switch up my thought. I hate that. I hate when I'm wrong. Damn it. I don't I don't know how I feel about the same actors playing the same characters over and over and over again, but just because this one was so refreshing, and it's not the same character that we saw in 2012's Avengers or 2018's Endgame, it's not that same character. But damn it.
I want to think that way, but I think this show is the last time we see Tom Hiddleston as Loki, and Thor: Love and Thunder will be the last time we see Chris Hemsworth as Thor. They are getting rid of the original Phase 1 lineup.
They're phasing out Phase 1.
Yeah.
And we just got a new Captain America. Whether you like him or not, he's here. We got him. And this whole, like, Loki's about to screw around with the multiverse, and Wanda's already doing it in her own show. And Spider-Man, apparently, the least multiversey character
is going through the Darkhold, and like you hear the voices from what we think are different timelines. Do you think that is a result of the conclusion of this series?
Ooh.
Do you think that's the conclusion? All these timelines have not been corrected, and so she's able to use the Darkhold to look into these timelines that are still existing.
Oh wow! I mean, they could easily place Loki before WandaVision. We would have no idea.
Yeah.
Yes, Jesse. I hate being wrong. Why do I feel like that's a lot of hate? I shouldn't say I hate being wrong. I like being surprised. I don't like it when we get things right.
When it comes to Marvel, I love being wrong.
Right. I would like to be surprised with these things, and for the most part, they kind of nail it. Like, I think the one obvious one was Mysterio, but even then, I was like, he's from the multiverse. I believe
that's the one time I absolutely hated being wrong, and I pushed off seeing Far From Home so much. Like, it took me a month to see Far From Home because I was spoiled about, like, oh, it's not really the multiverse. Like, Mysterio was lying. And I'm like, fuck, I don't want to see it then, because that was my whole thing to wanting to see it. And then they were like, you gotta see it because, yeah.
But Connor, if you think about it, even though it wasn't the multiverse, it brings into play the multiverse. And now we're possibly going to get the multiverse.
That's why when I
and it sets up that ending, which
Far
is crazy.
From Home right now is my favorite Spider-Man movie.
Oh, okay.
Woo!
Because when I did see it, I was like, this is so good. And I'm a Jake Gyllenhaal stan. I love Jake Gyllenhaal. And he fucking murdered that role. He was so good in it. And there was so much
perfect
love. I love that Spider-Man. I think it's so good.
So off topic, but who's your favorite Spider-Man?
Come on.
This is controversial.
Oh God.
Mine is the 90s cartoon.
Spider-Man. Oh, we're talking like overall. It's still Andrew Garfield. I love Andrew Garfield.
Shit.
I liked him. I like Tom Holland. I like Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I love Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man because that's what I remember seeing that in theater, and like I never thought we would get a Spider-Man, so it was like the greatest. I remember when they took down the trailer because of the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
I remember that trailer on TV, and so when that happened, they took it down. So I always will have a special place. I like Tom Holland. I just said the 90s cartoon one because that's what I love. But I think I like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, though. It was a good version of it. The suit, I didn't like this, but the overall, I would have liked to seen him do the whole Venom storyline or something like that. That would have been dope. Sorry, solely topic. We'll talk about Spider-Man some other times. My apologies, Chris.
Yeah, no, you're fine. I'm wearing my Spider-Man cardigan today, so
I can see. Is that a onesie?
No, it's a cardigan. So
I don't know I don't know these big words.
It's a sweater. It's a sweater.
Okay,
it's a sweater with buttons.
If we ever get a certain kind of show going on this channel, I feel like Suge is going to be a regular.
Right, and hopefully we can have more geeky programming on Wednesdays.
Until Chris fires me.
So at the top of the show, I mentioned that one of my guests asked me to do this live, and it was Suge. He had kindly asked.
It was a brilliant idea. I love the live format.
He asked me nicely if we could do this on the channel, and I'm like, and for the longest time I tried to separate these two entities. So I'm like, you know what, we have some things in the works. I'm like, we could do the Loki stuff on the channel until then. But I was just so set. I'm selfish. That's what it is. That's what I'm trying to say. But to answer your question, Suge, my favorite Spider-Man, call me King recency bias. I think Tom Holland's the perfect iteration of the character. And my only issue with Andrew Garfield, he's too good at looking. He was way too good looking when he first in the Amazing Spider-Man. I'm like, yo, like that man's hot. Like, why are these people bullying him? Like, this doesn't make any sense. But that's my one little gripe. I love his version of the character. I thought the movies weren't the best.
You know what I just thought, Chris? Connor would make a great Peter Parker.
He would.
I'm looking at him right now. I'm like, that could be Spider-Man.
That is honestly a huge honor because Spider-Man is my favorite character from Marvel. Always loved Marvel or Spider-Man. When I grew up, just had a ton of Spider-Man comics. It was Spider-Man and Hulk, but Spider-Man was like on another level. When that first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man came out, I was like begging my grandparents to like take me to see it. I was like, I need to see it. I still listen to Hero by
I put it on my playlist like 4 weeks ago. I love that song.
I play that literally anytime. Like I throw that on so much. Like that soundtrack was killer. And
amazing. It was amazing.
It. Like that was 2003 was the first Spider-Man, right? 2002. So like 20 years later, I'm still listening to that. Like
that makes me feel so old.
Spider-Man. My earliest childhood memory, this is so sad because my memory is awful, is going to see Spider-Man. Like my mom taking me to go see that movie. Granted, I was that kid in the theater that you hate seeing in the theater, but I remember vividly being terrified of the Green Goblin death scene in that movie. I know we're straying way off topic.
That was my first midnight showing. And I was also terrified because my grandparents were like, oh, Spider-Man's playing at midnight. And so me and my family went to see Spider-Man at midnight, and I was terrified of Green Goblin.
The whole like house burning sequence, or the apartment burning scared the hell out of me.
Is saying the prayer, and he busts through.
Oh, dude,
yeah. I remember going to see that because 2002, I just graduated high school, and I remember going to see that. But the thing about that version of Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, is when they released the teaser for 3. And they show him in the black suit. Every person, I probably was at that time, probably 25, 26.
Everybody was
lost it because we were like, I was used to the 90s cartoon, which you saw Venom, you saw Carnage. So we're like, we're going to get Venom, we're going to get Carnage.
Yeah. You just see the swinging through the city, and then he lands on that skyscraper, and you just see him in the black suit, and you're like, oh my God, they're doing it.
Lost it. And it's weird because you look back at those movies and you go, okay, they weren't the greatest. Like the Fantastic Four wasn't the greatest movie, but that's what we had. And we were like, dude, it's so awesome. We got the Fantastic Four. And now you're like, oh, I can't wait for this. Like, when the other Fantastic Four had came out, it was like, man, okay.
You talking about Fantastic or Rise of the Silver
Surfer? The one with Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. That's a whole different.
That's all different podcast.
I don't want to open up because I will defend the first half of that movie.
No. But I'm saying like we didn't think we get this far, and now that there's a possibility, now Fantastic Four is going to join, X-Men's going to join.
Right.
I always wanted to see Wolverine with Spider-Man, because Wolverine with Captain America, because there's backstory with that they fought in the war together, which I don't think they'll go to now.
I want to see a Team Red. I want to see Spider-Man. I want to see Daredevil and Deadpool together.
I do. I want to see Omega Red. Man. That was my favorite villain, Omega Red and Spider-Man. I want to see Galactus. The version that we got in freaking Rise of the Silver Surfer was the most pathetic thing I've ever seen.
It was a fucking cloud.
Pissed me off, but I want to see Galactus. I want to see, there's so many good storylines that we could get right now, and Loki's gonna jumpstart some of that stuff.
Loki opens up a million possibilities, and so this was not entirely off topic because go back to what Jesse said, that Franklin D. Roosevelt in Brooklyn. There's so many possibilities that Loki is opening up that like anything can happen now. It's wonderful.
No, right. And so And Miguel in the chat, what's up? What's going on, Miguel? Spider-Man 3 is great. I wouldn't go as far as saying great, but what I will say, shamefully, is that Spider-Man 3 is the one I've seen the most out of the first three. Because that's the one I had on DVD as a kid. It's the only one I had. So my mom,
when I first got my PS3, it came with a trilogy set of the Spider-Man movies because they had the same.
Right.
Yeah.
Damn. I hate admitting that on the internet, but it's the one I've seen the most. I love the other two though. Obviously they're better movies, and I think the first two are classics and will forever be held as such. But I want to mention these two comments that Jesse brought up earlier. Nobody talking that Sylvie is telepathic. Is that the comic book version of the character? Because did we get an inkling that she's telepathic in the show? Because Marvel is the king of, oh, you like this character? We're going to change them to how they fit our universe.
Well, no, she's using her mind to transfer herself. Because with the Loki we have known up until this point, he had to touch people to control them. She doesn't. She's just, boop, I'm controlling Randy.
Okay, because when I was trying to explain that power earlier, so it's telepathy. That's what, because when we saw Loki talking to the Randy person in the last few minutes of the episode, we saw her doing a little like zap zap with the little disintegrator things, with the resetters, and it's like, okay, is that telepathy, or what? Did she touch Randy before Randy went out, or before that dude was there looking at the flowers, whatever the hell? It's the hurricane sale.
To explain, holy fuck!
What's up?
What's the exact quote when Loki is trying to explain different versions?
What are you talking about?
When he's like, actually, that's not correct.
When it was talking about like the illusions, or when he becomes somebody else.
Yeah.
So was that what he was talking about?
No. She does, when she was switching bodies, she was touching the side of her temple. She was almost doing a Scarlet Witch thing from Ultron, where she would touch the temple.
Telepathy. I think it's another form of what Loki is talking about when he's explaining the different versions of things. Oh, she can hear his thoughts.
We see her use telepathy.
I don't think it's telepathy.
When she said, when did they say that she can hear her thoughts?
I just thought she was predicting his Loki-esque nature, because Lokis have a through line through each other, even though they're not the same version of the character. I thought she was just guessing what he was going to say because she knows him so well. Like how that's why they brought in Loki in the first place. So they can say, hey, you're Loki. You know how they're going to think. And that's how I interpreted that whole scene. It was Sylvie like, oh, typical Loki, basic ass Loki. Of course you're going to say that. Of course you're going to do this. That's why she defended her ass as much as she did, and why she thought, or why she figured she knew what he was going to say, being correct in the process. I didn't know that was telepathy. If that's telepathy, then I will have my foot in my mouth next week when she explicitly says, I use my telepathy. But until then,
I don't remember her saying that she can hear his thoughts or use telepathy.
And with telepathy, can't you like control things with your mind, like move things?
That's telekinesis.
Telekinesis.
How dare you, Connor?
This is why people.
Sorry, Chris.
This is why people always say, well, why can't Professor X make himself walk? He doesn't have telekinesis. He has telepathy.
Yes.
You ever see that where people are like, why doesn't Professor X have himself walk and stuff? They're like, it's because
that's a whole different skill set. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, he has he doesn't have telekinesis. He has telepathy.
Jesse in the chat says, when Loki says, what do you want? It's not out loud. It's in his thoughts.
Really? I'm going to have to rewatch the episode because I thought he said that.
Jesse also says there's lines of dialogue not spoken out loud. If she is a telepath, then now I'm very intrigued, because Loki never does that. Loki's not a telepath. Listen to the audio. There's an effect.
All right, I'm going to have to rewatch this on because I watched this on like a little dinky like Vizio where I was vacationing. So I'm going to have to watch this on my actual system. That's
interesting. If she's a telepath, then that really throws everything into flux, because I'm not, because Loki's not a telepath.
No,
Loki can't read minds. So, because he goes as far as saying in the beginning of the episode, like he visually messes with folks.
Yeah.
So he'd be one dangerous ass human being if he could do that, or dangerous ass God if he can do that and be a telepath at the same time.
Yeah.
That's awfully interesting.
I'm gonna have to rewatch the episode because I only had a chance to watch it once because I was doing so much.
The mistake I made, because Connor, when we watched the episode, the first one together, you had said to me, because you had seen it prior, you said watch with the subtitles on. Maybe that's where I messed up because I did not watch the second episode
with the subtitles, but it still said Loki, and then said like.
It's not a stretch. It's not a stretch if she is manipulating their mind. Oh, no, it's not. No, we have no idea what to expect out of these versions of Loki. We have they can make anything up. Because when we saw the different variants, they're all different.
Our theory of what we were saying about this being Loki transferring his soul into another being after dying by Thanos. So it kind of debunks that, but I'm gonna have to rewatch the episode because I didn't catch that.
Yeah, because I'm not fully sold on the movie Loki giving the soul somebody else. Like I'm more so like I think Suge, you had mentioned it, Connor, where it was, oh hey, it was a different Loki, gave her the powers knowingly or maybe like to mess with her or something, like almost like torturing her in a way, and she's using those powers to get back.
No, we weren't saying that. We were saying Loki transferred his soul into this new being, and she's becoming aware and is vengeful about that.
Right. So the whole telepath thing, if she is a telepath,
that would not explain why she wants to go after the timekeepers.
No, and we have no idea of what this character's motives are. None, absolutely none. Like we just met her not too long ago, so we'll. I guarantee the stuff that we saw in this episode, at least at the end, will get at least mentioned in the the third episode. But Connor, do you have any final thoughts before we wrap? Because Suge unfortunately had to go. But Connor, do you have any final thoughts on Loki?
No final thoughts. I just want to say, if you're not watching Loki,
why are you listening to this if you're not watching Loki?
If you're not watching Loki, or if you're not liking Loki and you are watching it, you're a fucking moron. Loki's amazing.
Look, I wouldn't go that far.
No, I'll go that far. Loki's amazing. Loki is my favorite thing Marvel has done so far. I can't wait to see what consequences or what possibilities come out of this show. I was looking forward to Thursdays every week. Now I'm looking forward to Wednesdays and Thursdays every week.
Yeah, we have this Loki show is going to throw everybody for a loop. And I know a lot of us and a lot of our buddies here at WAT Reel Entertainment, a lot of our brotherly and sisterly channels, they're doing similar shows like this. And I guarantee they're all having the same discourse. Every Loki recap show, every Loki breakdown show is going to have the same discourse. But how they go about it, or if we're wrong, I guarantee no one's going to get this right. No one's going to 100% get this show right. And if you do, kudos. Show me the receipts and I'll give you kudos the second I see you. But this damn show's throwing me for a damn loop. Suge was confusing me with his theory that Connor was buying into. What's up, really scared? But I was over here thinking to myself, like, how can this show like just screw with me every single week? And apparently, just by introducing the whole variance aspect, and now at the end of the episode, we're seeing all these different timelines get disrupted because of the acts of this character that we know in the credits as Sylvie. This may not even be the character's name. Matt Thompson in the chat. What's up, Matt? I agree with Connor. You're a moron if you don't like it. Word. But this show is really damn good. And I love that it's only 6 episodes. Don't overdo it. They know what they have. Do the 6-hour movie type, like how we thought all these shows are going to be. And if you keep it tight, we should be good. And we're a third of the way through the show.
Keep the episode. I'll agree with that sentiment if they keep the episodes, 50 minutes or longer.
Right. Don't.
Shorter,
no one should be doing.
Don't fuck us over with these, 22-minute episodes.
and it's only 6. That's dumb. That's dumb. What?
Like, don't
make a movie.
Just make a movie.
Yeah, make it. Just
Make
a
a
movie.
2.5 hour movie.
Yeah, just make a damn movie at that point. But I know like WandaVision was 9 episodes, and Falcon Winter Soldier was a minute as well. Like they go 8?
They went 6, didn't they?
6, something like that. But those are hour-long episodes.
Yeah.
You know, WandaVision was not half the time. So if they continue this path, like Loki, WandaVision, and now Captain America and the Winter Soldier, like they're setting the standard for the MCU shows. So when we inevitably get Miss Marvel, when we inevitably get Hawkeye, which I'm so stoked to see, by the way, when we see these other shows, even What If, right? The animated show, even once you get that, they set the groundwork for how they're going to be so enthralled in this universe. 6 for Falcon Winter Soldier. Thank you, Matt, in the chat. But this show, they only had 6 episodes, really? So it felt so much longer. But once we finally get to this Loki threshold, like what you said earlier, Connor, this will have the most ramifications in regards to the bigger universe. Yes, Falcon Winter Soldier gave us a new Captain America and some more sus people to worry about going forward. WandaVision established the Scarlet Witch as a character. We saw a new Vision, and we're introducing some inklings of the multiverse of some sorts. But this show's going to blow that all out of the water in regards to universe ramifications.
In multiverse. So this, and Kevin Feige even said it, this will connect to the most MCU properties out of everything they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So this one, like I said, the possibilities are endless on what this show does for the MCU moving forward. And I think that is very, very exciting because we don't know what the outcome of this show, we don't know what effects that'll have until we see, what it leads into.
Right.
We don't know what ramifications it'll have on Doctor Strange or Spider-Man. We do at an extent with the multiverse, but we don't know what the possibilities, the consequences will be for Ant-Man and the Wasp. We know it's connecting to that. We don't know what else it's going to connect to. And I think that's so exciting because, it's just going to be fun to see what it's going to fuck up everything that we can think of, pretty much.
Exactly. It's going to be super exciting.
Yeah.
And Suge, do you have any closing thoughts before we wrap up here for Chris's sake for Loki, the variant, the 2nd episode?
Oh, I thought we were talking Shimoda. My bad. Sorry, I had to leave. I have my daughter has counseling, so I had to jump on real quick. No, I love the show, and I can't wait for the next episode. I'm super excited. I don't stay up till midnight to watch it because I'm an old man and I got to go to work in the morning. So I usually watch it in the morning while Chris is at work, and I message Chris every morning and send him a picture of my beautiful face, and he responds with "I love you."
I do.
And then that's when I watch it, and I love it because it's a nice show to watch, and it, like Connor says, it's going to have some implications on everything that happens in the MCU from here on out that I want to see. And if we get multiverse, I'm super excited because that's something I've always been. That's why I wanted to do this kind of show. Why I'm going on another show after this to talk about Loki, because multiverse, Secret Wars has been my thing since I was a kid. I love those comic books. I love crossovers. I can tell you, I had the comic book when DC and Marvel crossed over for the first time, and then they became like Wolverine became Batman, and they had that. The
amalgamation comics. Yeah,
I had all of that stuff. I loved it. I loved crossovers. So this gets me excited because the possibilities are endless, and then to see what Marvel's going to do, man. Like to see to think we're going to have an Avengers, Fantastic Four, X-Men movie. I might not be around when it happens, but my kids will get to see that. My son, who's seen every Marvel movie with me, and I've taken him to every Marvel movie opening night, he will see that.
Suge, I am praying that you are here to see that because I would love, 10 years from now for all of us to be.
Oh yeah, I mean, hopefully
that movie ain't happening in 100 years, Suge. I think you'd be okay.
Holy shit! How about that?
You know what? You know what? If I stop eating McDonald's and drinking, maybe I'll be here in 10 years. But that's what I got to stop doing, okay? And stop being stressed about Matt, and Chris doing Spin from the Reel. And make sure to check us out on Mondays, 5 p.m. PST, where we talk all the cheese.
We're doing plugs.
Let's do some
I don't know. I just decided to do a plug. And Matt earlier today, Chris cussed me out because I did a plug for his TikTok. And
I did not cuss you out. Don't lie. Don't lie.
And I tagged you in it, and you haven't even liked the post.
I haven't gone on TikTok. Lord Jesus. Connor, where can people find you on the internet, dude?
You can find me at _Iceboy on Instagram with 2 I's. And you can find me at Prince_Avalanche on Twitter with no I in Prince. And then coming up in about a half hour, we do have the outlaw, the goat law, if you will, John Roca, talking about the fly and really scared. So that's going to be fun. So you can find me there in about 30 minutes.
Yeah, this went way longer than I thought it was going to. So Connor, I apologize.
It's all good. I love talking about this with you guys. I hope we can do this again live if the powers will be next week, because this was a lot of fun, and it was a lot of fun doing it live with the chat. So
hell yeah. And Suge, where can the folks find you on the interwebs?
Well, they can find me in Arcadia, California. You're talking about
wait a minute. On the internet.
You can
not your home address. Suge, what's your social security number?
It's 5. No. You can find me. You can find me on Twitter at SugeKnight323. You can find me on TikTok, SugeKnight323. I am posting a lot about Magic the Gathering, and if people don't know, I love Magic the Gathering. I play a lot. And you can find me on Twitch at SugeKnight1323, because when I used to have SugeKnight323, they took that username away, so now it's 1323. And I'll probably be streaming tonight later on. After this. Playing some Apex or playing Magic. After this, I'll be on the Lunch Break Hot Take, which I think is their Old Man Gamers channel, talking Loki with them, which is going to be awesome. And then, you can find me on WAT Reel Entertainment Mondays with this crazy guy, Chris Lopez, talking schmodown and calling people out and pulling no punches, because that's what we love to do. We like to call out Ben Bateman and
Stop saying we.
It's we, Chris. Whatever I say, you co-sign. So
no,
go on Twitter right now. Go on Twitter. It says Spin for the Real does not like Ben Bateman. That's what we're doing.
No, that's not the case. Don't lie.
And Chris, where can the lovely people find you?
Yeah, where can they find you, Chris?
Oh, geez, where do I begin? For all the audio listeners, of course, for Chris's sake, every single Monday I'm gonna have some for y'all. Subscribe, follow the podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. Whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, all that jazz, wherever you find your pods, For Chris's Sake is there. Go ahead and check out For Chris's Sake. It's my everything podcast. As of right now, there are some things that I don't talk about on WAT, where all the video watchers are watching this podcast at. So if you are watching this on WAT, subscribe to the channel, like the video. If you're watching this live, thank you so much. I see you, Brandon, in the chat. I love this crew. Brandon, I love you. How about that? And we love you too.
Chris, do you talk about WAP on Chris's Sake?
There is no WAP. At least, I mean, we might have talked about Megan Thee Stallion, but not about any WAP.
But does WAT talk about WAP?
No, WAT does not talk about WAP.
I don't think WAT has ever talked about WAP.
Not until right now. I don't think those 3 letters have appeared in that order on this channel. So that's one thing. If you're watching this on WAT, you can catch me Mondays with Suge and Matt, Spin from the Reel, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. On Fridays, Wrestle Reel. We will be going live. So if you're watching this live right now, tomorrow at 6:15 Central, 7:15 Eastern, because Nick has some stuff happen. So we're going to start a little bit later in the evening. So we should still have a show tomorrow, 6:15 Central, 7:15 Eastern. And hopefully, if the powers that be have no ASG, no, that's
yes.
not it.
Yes.
No.
Yes. We're changing the name.
No, we're not. We already had one this year. No more. We already capped out. Hopefully on Wednesdays we can keep doing this or a form of this. Make sure you follow us on our social medias. They're in the description of this video. You can follow me on Twitter at CAnthonyLopez. I mean, the letter C Anthony Lopez on Instagram, the letter C _ Anthony Lopez. And of course the channel. Follow the channel at WAT, the letter T as in tree, WAT Reel Entertainment, or Reel Ent, I should say, on Twitter. It's all in the description. Follow us, subscribe to us, like the video. So, I mean, without further ado, unless one of y'all...
Chris, thank you for having me on another episode of
Thank you, Chris.
It's always a wonderful time. Chris, Suge, it's been wonderful, and I hope we get to do this more. This was so much fun.
Hopefully.
Well, wait a minute, Connor. Your name is Breed Love.
Yes,
that's his real name.
Breed Love.
Absolutely, I do.
That is a porn star name.
No, okay. And with that being said,
this is WAP Entertainment, Real Entertainment.
And with that being said, thank you so much for listening to For Chris's Sake. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you go ahead and follow and subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to it. For Suge and for Connor Breeding Love, my name is Chris Anthony Lopez. And for Chris's sake, I'll see y'all next time. Be good people. I'll see y'all
later. Stay
in
that sacred timeline.
Stay in the sacred timeline, for real.
Absolutely.